QuickBooks over to the screen?
Yeah, and I actually need to open, you know what, let me close QuickBooks, I didn't open this in the right. I had QuickBooks still open last night, so 1 second, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
I wasn't really prepared. Like, I wasn't even thinking that was going to happen on my computer. Lovey doll. All right. Okay, so I need to open Needles and QuickBooks, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And do they ever have to open one before another, like we do in Outlook? Or does it matter?
Needles first is what we've been taught.
Yeah, it really doesn't make a difference with that particular interface. If they are syncing Outlook, or if you're using the add-in, you're using QuickBooks, I would probably go Outlook, QuickBooks, and then Needles, just because there's so many things that will be making a connection to Needles that I normally get those two items open, and then that way Needles can connect to them.
Okay.
Okay. So QuickBooks might actually open quicker if I did QuickBooks before Needles then, huh?
No, not really. From my understanding, pretty much everybody complains about how slow QuickBooks is to open. And then you guys just have such a large file that it probably won't make a difference as far as that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess, can you have control, or do I need to do something to give you control?
I'm going to leave you with control for right now.
Okay.
All right, so I know, let me get the name of who we were looking at before.
Jalen Langlos.
All right, do you want to go to customers and let's look at, are both those customers still there?
Yeah, we haven't done anything.
Okay, perfect.
So what do you...
Let's just go to the customer center to start with.
Okay.
Okay, let's go down to, what was the last name? Langley?
Langlos.
Langlos?
Uh-huh. And then Jalen is the first name.
It looks like there's
4.
Okay.
No, it's 2. It's 2.
Yeah, it's just a view. When it switches to this view, it looks that way. All right. So the first one are the expenses that are related to the Jalen without the number behind her name. So without 91185, are those expenses related to her?
Yes. So basically what we found is that there's one client listed in Needles, and all of her values are in there, and then her values in QuickBooks are split between these two.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's look at the expenses that are on the one without 91185 behind it. So let's look at those expenses. You might need to do like a quick report or something like that to see her expenses.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know what you... Sorry. What's it on? No, I wonder if it's on another monitor.
I don't know if that's right, because that... I'm wondering if that is...
No, this is the person. I'm trying to get it filtered, but my QuickBooks is locked up for some reason.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
it's
Daryl Dorsey. Okay.
Is it behind it?
Or
No, I can't even move anything. It's just locked.
Have you still been having issues with that?
We had been, but I thought I resolved the problem, and now I don't know. What's happening?
And you may have to start Task Manager to enter process on it if it won't let you do anything.
Okay, just waiting for it to load again.
Okay.
So, Kyle, does your office have a view of all the books? Sorry, all the trees. I was just making conversation with Kyle while you were waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, because I know we're going over merging the customer or clients, if this is going to be the same process for providers or if it's a different process.
It's a little bit easier for vendors and providers than it is customers and parties. It's really the customers, because in QuickBooks, when you go to your vendors and you merge them, all you have to do is just make them with the same name. In the customers, you have to move all the expenses to the new job, and then you'll be able to delete it, and then also then check the linking. It's a little bit harder for customers. It's a little bit more work for customers.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know what they're going to make. Okay, so this is the one with out the numbers after it, obviously, the expenses.
Okay. And if we do definitely see that her name is on it when it was exported.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
This looks like a weird situation. Okay. Pam, I don't know if Pam kind of filled you in with the history of this.
Carter, yeah.
Case. So somebody else's name was linked to it. I know that I was told that.
Mm-hmm.
Which the only reason it should really be linked to that was that his name was exported, or his name was put in, but either manually linked, or his name was put in to Needles and somehow exported, and then it got changed to her name. So it's kind of it is definitely a weird situation as far as what's going on when you want to try and figure out why it happened. Let's pull up the other. So let's change it and pull it to the one with the,
you want it side by side,
900.
Update this.
We can just update it for now. I just wanted to see that the items were all related to her.
There's something up with me using this on my big monitor, because I just got lost again. No. The last time that happened, it was like because I forgot that my third monitor has things popping up over there, but how do you get to your desk? Where's the desktop view link on here?
The desktop
view.
Yeah, go to you might have to go type in Control Panel.
The task. Okay.
I'm trying to remember where it is on here. It's been a while since I've used
it. The old version of Windows, you just had a little thing here. You could just click and it went to your desktop.
Yeah, but you have to actually search for it right now.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is not working out.
Are you trying to put it on a third screen?
Yeah, it's on my third screen, but for some reason when it's on the third screen, it's like it's locking up over here.
Okay. If you go,
and I don't know if it's. I was trying to see is it really locking up or is the thing I clicked on hidden, but I don't.
See if you can drag your mouse over to the right left bottom corner. I mean the right bottom corner. And sometimes there's going to be a few icons that pop up, and if you click on the search, just click your control panel, and you should be able to. You have to do it over on the right hand side, almost like drag it over to the corner.
Oh, drag? Like
yeah,
click
like,
and drag?
No, not click. Just kind of drag it like you're going to go off the screen to the corner. And it should come up with those icons. And if you see the magnifying glass, if you search for the control panel, it'll actually then come up with your display.
No, that's open a remote desktop.
Yeah. Whoops. All right. I'm just going to... I'm turning my monitors, and I'll just look at my smaller monitors and moving this stuff over. Sorry. It's the only way I can. Okay. I'm trying to make this easier for everybody, but that didn't work out so well. Okay, let's go to Plan B. Right. Scratch yourself. Self-harm. So how do I switch your view over to my other monitors on WebEx?
At the top where it says you're sharing the screen, hover, and then share my screen, and then select the other monitor.
Okay. All right, you guys see my needles now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me open QuickBooks back up and try this one more time. Makes no sense that it doesn't. So now did you say you wanted a side by side or you wanted me to just open the other one?
Either's fine. It doesn't matter.
So this is the other one.
Okay. All right, so it does look like they're all attached. Okay, let's go to needles. And let's go to her party. So let's search for Jalen.
Okay.
So she is a minor. Okay, go ahead and open. And go to edit, change accounting link. I just want to see which one she's linked to. Edit, change. An accounting link.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me write this down real quick.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so it's linked to the one with 91185. Go ahead and say no. I don't want to change it yet.
Okay.
List parties for me.
Other with question marks.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe it's another.
Did she pop out of there or not? Sorry. Oh gosh. I did not know that.
And so Jonathan Carter
had nothing to do with the case, but was associated with it for some reason. We don't know why.
Okay, was he a party on the case?
No, nothing.
Well, he was
completely
something.
Unrelated.
Yeah, at some point he was. I'd have to find a backup where I can find how he was associated, but I think he was originally a party to the case. And probably what happened is there were values that were being associated with him that whenever they removed him, had to make sure that it was on her value tab, but it had created a whole other entry, is what I think happened.
And probably just changed his name.
Uh-huh. But he wasn't supposed to be a party, correct? That was a mistake?
What's that?
Is that right?
I didn't hear
he's not a party of this case.
Yeah,
no, okay.
But he was at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does look like somebody at some point probably requested this item. So if we go back over to QuickBooks, let's look at that item for $36 for American Express under Jalen's name. And it's probably going to be under the one without the number. Yep.
So yeah, so it's without.
Yeah. And so this is what it looks like happened based on just the information that I have, having his name that was attached. At some point he was attached. At some point the expense was requested under his name in Needles. Even though he was deleted from the case, and QuickBooks was updated in the Customer Center to say, oh, no, this is related, change the vendor name to Jalen, it wasn't linked immediately. So what would happen is if you realize that it's the wrong party and you change the customer name,
mm-hmm.
you want to go to Needles and find that customer and link them together.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, ultimately what should have happened is as soon as you found out, you go to Needles and you say,
we didn't change anything in QuickBooks. Like how we actually uncovered that is that Jalen was listed and who was it, Carter or whatever, was also listed with the same case number. We never changed anything.
Right. So, is Carter still in QuickBooks now?
Probably for a case that he actually does have. Yes.
He might. I mean, I don't know if he's in there for it because I don't think we did anything.
Yeah, he has other cases. Let me see.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's listed in here twice. Like if we fixed the QuickBooks side of it. Did you work with Linda or something to fix the QuickBooks side of that, PM? Because
I don't usually work with them on fixing the QuickBooks. I just let them know if something's happened.
Was it Carter?
Normally who I emailed would have been
Jonathan, J.O.
Yeah, Liz and Jill were who all the emails went to.
We don't have a Jonathan Carter. So you know what? I'm going to take that back. And Jill might have gone in and changed it, and I don't know, and she's not here anymore. So
right.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
if we go to Needles, we would be able to go to Needles for me and search for Jonathan Carter. Let's see if his name even exists still.
It does.
He said he should have other cases, so.
Well, it looks like a case we didn't take. We never signed it, but I think that's...
So go ahead and open and go to, just say, actually go back to the party tab.
It doesn't have any values. That's why it's not in QuickBooks.
Yeah, go to the party tab for me. No, cancel here.
Oh, go to the party tab. I'm sorry.
Yes, please. And then go edit, change, accounting link.
Not link.
Okay.
So I think what happened is that's exactly what you said. Somebody changed it in QuickBooks instead of doing it the right way. They just changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and say no to this. We don't want to change anything.
So basically, one of those was probably Jonathan Carter.
Right.
And then the other.
And one of them, and then when the first item for Jaylyn was actually exported under her name, it creates her name a second time because somebody had already changed it and said, oh, the name's there. So Needle says, oh, well, the name's already there. I can't create a duplicate. So that's why it adds the parentheses and the number behind it. Because that's Needle's way of creating a unique name. Ultimately, when it was realized that you want to change the vendor name, and that's fine, but then you want to go to Needles and immediately link the existing name to the correct vendor or customer.
So can you
so really what we want to do in QuickBooks now is we would want to move the expenses to one, and I would say move them off the 91185 to the one there. So yeah, I would, it's not too hard. You can go ahead and double click on the check from the left side and change the customer job.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so we just want to do that so that we can get rid of.
Now, how do they link it back to Needles correctly?
We're going to go ahead and get these moved, and then we'll delete this job and customer, and then link the existing name and Needles to the remaining name in QuickBooks.
Okay. Oh, so you have to do them one by one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any way to do it as a batch.
This is actually way easier. So there's an easier way to move values than to have to actually re-enter everything. I'd love to know that.
There's not yet. That is definitely a wish list item. There's not yet, but we're hoping in the future that will be included.
When that happens, that is not fun to have to deal with.
No.
Have they given us any indication of a date?
They have not.
Okay.
Okay, so it's all moved.
Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and go to our customers. We're going to delete the customer and then the job and then the customer.
Okay. Yeah, the one's the job.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it now. But I always put it in the customer thing. Okay.
All right, so let's go to the one that has the 91185 and delete the job first. If you just right-click on it, you should be able to delete.
Oh, I can. Okay.
And then delete the customer.
Okay.
Great. So that's done. Now we go to Needles. Can you go down to Needles? There is a message down. Down on your taskbar. There's a message. It's a little white box there.
We get these all the time.
Okay. Can you try to for me?
It's spinning right now. I'm trying to, or it's not letting me pull it over to the screen. So let me just show you the other screen.
Okay.
All right. Can you see it?
What version of Needles do you have?
She should
You can
have,
go ahead and click OK on that message.
She should have the most recent.
It's not even letting me.
Let me look.
Still update.
Go to the task manager. You should be able to end the task. Okay, go to more details.
Tracy has the 4.8.2.9.091.
Okay.
I'm not the only one that gets those. I mean, Linda gets them all the time. Dory, do you get them?
I get them, not all the time, but I get them occasionally.
I think Linda gets them the most out of all of us. I get them the second.
And Linda has the most up to date as well. And then let me look at Dory. Dory also has the most up to date. Liz, what about your computer?
Every once in a while I get a needle error message, but not often.
Okay, let me look.
She's not doing as much. Well, not right now, but you will probably. It seems it's more the QuickBooks needles. So if you're doing more work between the two, you're going to get them the most.
Right. Liz, is your real name Liz, or do you go by something else?
It's Elizabeth and Needles, EAH.
Okay. Yeah, and she has the most up-to-date version of Needles, too. And they're all on the Sybase version 12.0.1.4104.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to Jaylen's. Yeah, let's go to Jaylen, and we're going to go to her party tab. We're going to do the edit, change accounting link. And this time we're actually going to change it. So yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead and do the search. Yeah, it looks like it hasn't even broke the link yet, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, because it's deleted.
Yeah, but it was still saying that it was there. And then go ahead and select the remaining name, and then say OK. And you can update it now. That's fine. All right. So that's ultimately now if it's caught before other items have been exported, then you can just get the name and get it linked. But because items were exported under the two different names, so to speak, that's why we had to move them all to one and then delete them and then relink them. But if it's caught ahead of time, really all that needs to be done is make sure to update the name in the vendor center, the customer name, and then go to this name and link it to the correct party.
So basically, if we had, because this has happened recently, so we had people that were being duplicated needles, and there was a check request done on the duplicated party, which we ended up having to merge, but there wasn't a check cut quite yet. So for in that instance, that's what they would have to do, right?
Right. Okay. Whatever the remaining name is. So if it's two names and it's supposed to be one and it gets merged in Needles, you want to go to the remaining name and make sure it's linked to the name in QuickBooks.
Now, how do we, so what if there were two clients in Needles, how do we merge them?
That's done by doing the replace and delete. So if you do a search for a name and you have John Adams twice, and you know that it's the same name, then you open for parties, you have to pretend it's the provider. So if you do a search, you can just go back to your search screen right now. So for parties, if you saw her name twice, you would want to double click where it says provider, even though it's blank.
So underneath that,
so if you go to
underneath the search,
right there. Yeah. So if you double click that opens the provider card. That's the only place you're ever going to have the replace function.
Okay.
The only thing is when you do that, you have to make sure that the other person doesn't have any checks, because sometimes they'll actually import over, sometimes they don't. So you could lose information off the value tabs.
If you delete them, not if you do a replace. So
well, usually what happens is we do replace and delete, and there's been instances where it doesn't come over. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen.
Yeah, the value shouldn't be a problem because, but that also means it's still in whichever case.
Gotcha.
That it belonged to. So if they had two names, two cases, and you do a replace and delete, it's going to make one name, two cases. Then yes, if there's value on one of those other cases and it's a duplicate case, you do have to move it over to the case that you want to keep.
Yeah, which is what I typically have to do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if it's two names, two cases, then yes, each case has its own value. If it was two names and two individual cases, so two different dates of incident, then that wouldn't be a problem because one belongs to one belongs to the other case. But if it's same name, same case, then yes, those normally have to be moved over. Okay. And then what you would want to do once you do the replace, you want to make sure in QuickBooks that you don't have two customers. And if you do, then you want to do the same thing, move the expenses to where it's supposed to belong, and then go to Needles after you've deleted the duplicate customer and do the linking again. So edit, change, accounting link, and link to the remaining customer. Okay. And vendors is very much the same. If you merge vendors in QuickBooks, so you have realized that, oh, we ended up with a duplicate vendors, and you merge them together, then you didn't even go to Needles and find, typically you'll want to do the replace so that you have just one. So for instance, you have State Farm and they're both at PO Box 2500. You want to make sure that there's one in Needles and one in QuickBooks and then link them back together just to make sure the link's not broken.
So
yeah, State Farm's a hard one, but if there's the same address,
but there's a lot of there's a lot of those in there. So when that happens, though, Needles will go through and update all the values in the cases to now be connected.
When you do a replace, so when you do the replace, it says, okay, well, anywhere that this name is, put in this name, and that's what then allows you to be able to delete the duplicate because you can't delete a name if it's used anywhere in Needles. So unless you replace it, it's going to be there always. But when you replace it, that will give you the option to then delete the name. And that just means that it takes, really what it takes is if you look at each name has a name ID. So Jane Land, you see her name ID is 91185 just above where it says no picture. So it's saying replace anywhere that this ID is with this new ID that you choose is really what it's telling it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so the main thing is just making sure to link them if you do cleaner. Yes.
Okay, and then we just select whatever.
Yeah, so you always open the one you want to get rid of, and then you search for the one you want to replace with.
Okay, so
and the only other important things you have to remember is they have to make sure that it's really the same person because sometimes it's the same name and the date of birth or the social security is different, so then we know it's not the same person. So
you only want to replace if it is a true duplicate.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
And like I said, the main thing is just once you realize that something's happened like that, just going and linking them to the correct name in QuickBooks. Because if you don't, like for instance, if there at some point Carter had expenses that were exported on his behalf. Why he was in the case, I don't know, but and so expenses got put into his name, and so then what happened is the checks were exported. Somebody did probably change it in QuickBooks, but didn't realize, oh, I need to go link Jalen to this changed name, and then when it did export, because Needles gets a flag in the background, so anytime a name is created by Needles, QuickBooks gives an ID. So not only do we have our names ID here in Needles, but in the background there's an ID that every time you go to export on behalf of that client or payable to that provider, it looks for that ID in QuickBooks. And if it doesn't find it, that's normally when you guys get those status code 3120 or 3180 messages when you're trying to export. That's normally why. It's because at some point the link's been broken. But if there's a name and the ID, it doesn't have an accounting ID in the background, then it's like Needle says, okay, well, I've never sent this over, so we need to create it as a new name. And that's ultimately what happened with Jaylen, is because it was exported for Carter, and then her actual ID name had never had an export. So when it got exported, it created the second one.
Okay. Can I ask you on one of the things that Pam and I have been kind of talking about lately is updating addresses and what steps actually have to be taken? Because what I've noticed myself is that there's nothing that needs, if they update an address in Needles, that it automatically updates in QuickBooks once you export it the next check.
The check may have the correct address, but it doesn't update the actual vendor. So
that's what
ideally, ideally the check address changes, name changes, any of those things are done on one of the machines that has the integration set up, because that's really the only way that it speaks to it's on that local computer that has QuickBooks Needles installed with the integration set up. If somebody else changes the address, it will change the address in Needles. However, there is a possibility if you ever make a change to the phone number. So, for instance, ABC Chiropractic's moved. Somebody updates it in Needles. When you've been exporting checks, you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. The checks are going. They get a new tax ID number or something. And so you go in and update the tax ID number, or you go in and update the phone number in QuickBooks. That then is going to send whatever is in QuickBooks at that time back to Needles, potentially overwriting the address that might be the correct address, too, because it's bi-directional.
What's the proper process then? So they say we have to update information in Needles. Right now, the firm basically has access to go ahead and update addresses and whatever, and then they're notifying accounting at that point to update QuickBooks. But I heard you said that it's best if it's done on a computer that has both. But then what are the steps that are the proper steps at that point for us to do?
So if you have two options. Either you manually update it in QuickBooks and we turn off that allow address change feature, or we leave the address change feature on. And what you could do is when they send you the notification, you could just go do the edit change accounting link again, and then it'll update. It asks you if it prompts you to update QuickBooks, you would just say yes.
Do they have to make any minor changes to the address? Because I know that's what they were doing prior, and it could be because they didn't really know. They just had to edit the accounting link. So if somebody already...
either one is going to trigger.
Okay.
So if they went and made the minor change, they could.
Do you want to change this? Well, the link we don't want to change. We still hit yes?
Yes, you would still say yes. You still get the search box and select the user, the customer's name. So it's really a matter of deciding what's easier for you guys.
Sounds like the accounting link is the easiest one. They don't have to go in and change anything. They would just have to recreate the link.
Okay, and then it updates QuickBooks for us.
Right.
I see. Okay.
Or that, or if they send you the change beforehand and you make the change, that will update QuickBooks for you. So that really that little small change that you guys were doing to get it to update QuickBooks, if they had just sent you the information and you made the change, it would have updated QuickBooks without two people having to go into it.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm trying to follow you on that one.
So you guys were previously making a small change so that it would trigger to send it over to QuickBooks. If they had just sent you the address or sent you the phone number or name change and you made the change in Needles, that would have been the same thing as you guys going in and making that minor change so that it would trigger a send. So that's why I always say either turn off the address changes or have them just notify you, because either way they're going to have to notify you that somebody moved.
Right.
Unfortunately,
the simple fact is, and we entered it ourselves, it would automatically update QuickBooks.
Right.
Okay.
Which is what used to happen, but then now they're asking that the staff members update it. So if the staff updates it and they just tell them, they just have to re-link the accounting link, correct?
Yeah, whatever's
Okay.
easier.
Okay.
I'm kind of wondering, which we can talk about it at another point, Pam, but
Okay.
if this makes sense for Lane to be able to do and just getting her connected in QuickBooks. I can give her limited access.
That's what I think we should do because it's going to be easier because she's already doing a lot of that stuff and it keeps accounting from having to do it. And she doesn't have to have full access to QuickBooks.
Right.
Just enough.
Yeah, she just needs the customers and vendors.
Exactly. I think that would be the smartest thing to do. And she's really thorough. I mean, she catches lots of stuff. So, I mean, I think that would be the best thing for the accounting
because
department.
Even with the bigger project of all these things, I mean, all these providers we have in here are duplicate. And
she just has to make sure, and I'll probably get her on a call with Kyle, maybe even the week that I'm there, just to go over all that, just so that she knows how it has to be done. Because we just have to make sure she's doing it right. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be the best bet.
Okay, I'd have to, I mean, we don't have enough licenses. I'd have to get one, but we're going to need another one anyway. So it might make sense to go ahead and do two.
Okay. Well, I mean, just whatever you decide, just let me know. And I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think it'll save you guys a lot of time. And it's just kind of unnecessary stuff for you guys to have to do when you have more important things to do. So.
Hey, Kyle, do you know, as far as, because we are having to get more licenses and we're on 2015 QuickBooks, do you know, have you heard any feedback on QuickBooks 2017 and if it's worth an upgrade?
I think there's a few new features in 2017. I haven't specifically looked at the features. I've only confirmed that we are compatible with it. Okay. I know we work with it, so if you do update.
That are kind of dealing with it and heard feedback.
I haven't had anybody mention anything as far as any trouble with it. You know, like I said, I know there's some new features. I think a lot of people though don't really use a lot of the features that QuickBooks puts out.
I think most of the features I found, the new ones are actually in 16. So we're, they came out in 16. Right. So of course they're in 17. So we're 2 editions behind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many people use them, and if they do, they haven't mentioned anything about them. And I know I haven't really tested with, I haven't done anything with the new features, because I know a lot of it's reporting, which is great, but I haven't really done anything with it.
That's why I want to upgrade. But I don't want to upgrade and cause problems with our connections and things like that.
Yeah, there should not be any foreseeable issues. Let me just look at one thing. What Sybase do you guys have?
We have 12.
Yeah, you're on Sybase 12, so there's no foreseeable issues. There is a bug in QuickBooks with users that have Sybase 16. We do have a fix for it, but they have not fixed it yet. So 2016 and 2017, there's a bug where it looks for a Sybase file that it doesn't use and gives them an error. But we Jesse here found a fix for it. So we do have a fix, but you guys are on Sybase 12, so I don't see any foreseeable
Have they
issues.
do you know if Sybase is updated with Microsoft yet? They were supposed to do it this month, and I don't know if they've done it yet.
With the new server version, is that what you're asking?
I think so, yeah, because we were going to server 2016, and it was causing some issues, so we had to revert back to 2012, even though we paid for 2016. So I just didn't know if maybe they've updated it yet.
Let me check. Hang on just a second.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Who does Lane officially report to?
That's a good question. I think it might be Leanne, but I don't know that for sure because she does. It might be Kathy and Kayla, to be honest with you, because she does all the police reports and stuff. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Cherie or Kathy or Kayla.
It might be Cherie. It's going to be one of those 3, I think. So probably more so Cherie. So
okay.
Okay, I'll let her know. Okay, yeah, I just checked. It looks like we are still waiting for confirmation from Sybase.
Okay.
Not yet, and I think Jesse's been trying to get in contact with our contact there and hasn't gotten an answer yet. So hopefully we'll know soon, but we don't have an answer yet.
Okay. Well, just if you guys hear something, just email me because there's some stuff that we're waiting for until that Sybase update happens. So that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I can't think. Tracy, did you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think we're good. Are you guys good? Is that it? Okay. I think we're good.
Okay, cool. Thank you,
And
Kyle.
if you guys come across one and you're like, you know what, I want a refresher before I make any changes, you can always give me a call and I can do a WebEx with you just to go walk through it with you.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.